So here is a 1930 print copy of a 1927 edition of Principles of Chemistry by a Joseph Rowe. Now, there's something very, very nice about this book, and it is available online as a PDF version if you type in the title, which I will show you here, the full title. The author won many awards at the time, for his style of writing and for his educational work in chemistry. And what is really lovely about this book, again, it shows you, so this is almost 100 years old. Well, the actual original copy was 1927, so it is almost 100 years old. And it, does not stop astonishing me or astounding me of how much knowledge was really, really known even at that time. I did have a comment recently where somebody on one of my posts, on one of my 1900 chemistry book, where someone posted, oh, well, that's just an old book because chemistry only evolved after 1900s. And I was like, no, not at all. It's actually quite astonishing how much was being developed and known and discovered even in the 1700s. But what is interesting about this book, I will do the same thing. I will read you a couple of bits and I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see some of the pages, because not only has it got the name of the owner at the time, this lady, Rachel, has written throughout the book on all the experiments with the beautiful cursive handwriting. And when I picked up that book, when I found that book in the shops, it reminded me of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Snape's potion book. And it is, she's done, the lady or whoever owned that book, which I assume was the lady's whose name is in the book, did a wonderful job of noting everything and even adding, in some cases, where was it? It was actually quite nice. She actually adds, she's actually added and glued some extra paper to write. Look at that. So she writes out all her experiments. But here is who the book was intended to. And it's really, really interesting. It says here, this book has been written to meet the requirements of the 45 to 60-hour courses in chemistry for nurses recently recommended by the National League of Nursing Education. So this book is actually for nursing students. And it says, in general, the outline published by a committee of the latter organization has been followed, but certain minor deviations in the treatment of the organic section have seemed advisable. Obviously, organic chemistry is that field of chemistry dealing with carbon, not organic like what we're using now, organic food or something. Quite a lot of people don't realize that. They hear organic chemistry and they don't realize that the word organic in this context means relating to carbon. Interesting, isn't it? Anyway, here it says, the author is conscious of the great difficulty of teaching the structural side of organic chemistry in a course of this kind, and accordingly has introduced no more organic chemistry than is necessary to give a general idea of the carbon compounds and of the nature of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. On the other hand, the author believes that the physiological aspects of chemistry, such as digestion and metabolism, can be successfully taught and should be stressed in a nurse's course, and has therefore introduced considerable material along the lines of physiological chemistry. And it goes on about all the other stuff in the book. And I read you some of the units in there. So you've got introduction, units of measurement, fundamental concepts, hydrogen, oxygen and ozone, water and hydrogen peroxide, making of chemical compounds, solution and ionization, acids, bases and salts, nitrogen, the atmosphere, the halogens, a chemical family, some important metals, some important non-metals, catalysis, enzymes, colloids, dialysis, osmosis. And then you have carbon, organic chemistry, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, milk, the blood, digestion, metabolism, vitamins, dietary requirements, the internal secretions, and the chemistry of excretion. So it's very comprehensive. And actually, if you're a nurse, or if you're a nurse having studied recently, it'd be very interesting to know if you study all this organic chemistry. Is that part of the nursing course? I have no idea, because I'm not a nurse and I don't know if that's what's studied at university. but it's a very, very beautifully comprehensive book. And I will turn my camera so you can see some of the concepts in there. There's a hell of a lot on sugar, and there's got a whole section there on glucose, levulose, galactose, sucrose, lactose, maltose, starch. I mean, you know, the food business was known. Dextrins, inulin, cellulose, glycogen, agar, pectin, carbohydrates in general. It's wonderful. Loads and proteins. And I've picked up some of the, you know, paragraphs and read some of the paragraphs. And there's no doubt good food and how to eat was definitely known at that time. Right, let's have a look at the book now. All right, here we go. Principle of Chemistry. And we have a preface to the first edition that you can read here. And here are the chapters, and you can have a look, take a look at all the different topics. I'm letting you have a look here because you may be interested, if you're a nurse, to see what sort of topic is being discussed here. And here we have the final chapter, and then all the exercise. And if we look through here, this is how it looks, and it is lovely how the student, you know, has really gone to town, and it's all noted. I love books like that, you know, where somebody has really used it to learn. So you have questions, you have well, the actual textbook. And at the end here, this is where you have, look, all the experiments. So you have, look at that. It will tell you what to do. Oops. And then student makes the notes. And obviously, very lovely cursive handwriting. So there's pages and pages of this. You know, wonderful. That's why it reminded me of Snape's potion book. She would have made her notes, and here she's had to put some extra paper to discuss what she's discovered. It's really, really nice. Lovely book.